Accessible washrooms are vital in public spaces to cater to the needs of all users. However, understanding which guidelines to follow can be confusing due to various regulations and standards. It's important to note that compliance with British Standards 8300 for wheelchair-accessible washrooms may not automatically ensure compliance with UK building regulations. Some may question the necessity of adhering to British standards if there is no legal obligation to do so. In this video, we'll delve into the key elements of the British Standards accessible requirements, specifically BS 8300-2018, and why it is important to comply with them. I'm Duncan Woodford, an internal customer relations executive here at Dolphin Solutions, where I've worked for the past 10 years. British Standards 8300 provides comprehensive guidelines for designing washrooms that cater to the needs of individuals with disabilities or limited mobility. Dolphin Solutions' expertise in this space is a product of our vast experience in designing and manufacturing commercial washroom products, including dock-end packs and grab rails. We actively collaborate with industry professionals and remain dedicated to staying updated on washroom regulations and standards. In this guide, we will cover the following: which British standards apply to designing an accessible washroom? Do you have to follow UK accessibility standards? Does compliance with the BS 8300 mean you comply with the law? What happens if you don't follow UK accessibility standards? What is included in the BS 8300 standards for wheelchair accessible toilets? Why is it important to follow UK accessibility standards? Which British standards apply to designing an accessible washroom? The primary accessible requirements outlined in British Standard BS 8300-2018 focus on designing an inclusive built environment, particularly in buildings. This code of practice provides guidance for best practices in creating accessible building designs, including provisions for toilet access for individuals with disabilities. While British Standard 8300 serves as the primary standard to adhere to, architects should also familiarise themselves with other relevant British standards, such as BS 6465-2-2017 Sanitary Installations, Part 2, Space Recommendations, Code of Practice, BS EN 997-2012 WC Pans and WC Suites with Integral Trap. Do you have to follow UK accessibility standards? While not legally binding, these standards ensure wheelchair-accessible toilets meet the needs of individuals with disabilities. British Standards 8300 is frequently referenced in Building Regulations Document Part N, offering detailed guidance for sanitary accommodations, especially for wheelchair-accessible washrooms. Although Document Part N sets minimum legal requirements and lacks the same level of detail as BS 8300, its endorsement implies the need to combine both standards for safe and accessible washrooms. Does compliance with the BS 8300 mean you can comply with the law? Adhering to BS 8300, the design of an accessible and inclusive built environment, does not exempt you from legal obligations. Compliance with the specific regulations for accessible toilets outlined in Document Part M remains necessary. While British Standards 8300 offers valuable guidance for designing accessible washrooms, it is important to independently meet the legal requirements set by the building regulations. What happens if you don't follow UK accessibility standards? Meeting only the minimum requirements outlined in Document Part N of the Building Regulations for accessible toilets without following British standards may lead to inadequate accessibility for individuals with disabilities. This could result in complaints, legal consequences, or even harm to users. Non-compliance with British standards for accessible washrooms can also affect the usability of the facility. Therefore, it is strongly advised to adhere to British Standards 8300 for accessible toilets to prioritise user safety and accessibility. What is included in the BS 8300 standards for wheelchair-accessible toilets? Clause 18 of British Standards 8300 focuses on accessible sanitary accommodation, providing detailed guidelines for various facilities in accessible washrooms, including general sanitary accommodation, shower rooms, changing areas, accessible baby changing facilities, toilet accommodation, and changing places toilets. These standards offer crucial guidance for architects, builders, and building owners to create accessible and inclusive facilities for individuals with disabilities. Why is it important to follow UK accessibility standards? Compliance with a British standard demonstrates a commitment to fulfilling organisational responsibilities and signifies diligence and care in task performance. While not legally mandated, adherence to British Standards 8300 for wheelchair accessible toilets is widely recognised as good practice, promoting safety and accessibility for individuals with disabilities. Architects, builders and building owners should combine BS 8300-2018 Code of Practice with Document Part M of the Building Regulations to meet both minimum legal requirements and provide necessary accessibility. If you wish to purchase a hard or digital copy of the BS 8300-2018 Design of an Accessible and Inclusive Built Environment Buildings Code of Practice, you may get it from the BSI Group website. For further inquiries, feel free to reach out to us and we'll be happy to assist you. Our team is available to answer any questions or provide additional information regarding British Standards 8300 for accessible washrooms. You can also visit our website and explore our Learning Centre for additional resources and inspiration for your washroom design.